Welcome guys to the Slowpoke World, and we're here, baby. Did I or did I not say the Slowpoke World would be the premier place for Rebel Clash content? I've already given you 20 decks in 20 days. I've already given you a 43 standard tier list deck video, and here I am now bringing you a deck list for almost every single one of them decks, baby. Here we go. Let's get started now. Deck lists for all these decks will be in a spreadsheet in the description, so you can just copy and paste them straight into TCGO. Right, two things then. First thing, before we get into the list, now obviously these lists aren't going to be perfect, guys. The format's just started literally today, so if you think some counts are off, that's fine. I think these are very all good starting points. So if you want to pick an archetype, so let's say you really like Sandaconda and you want to just sort of get in there, get involved straight away, and you want to have a very good 60 to start, then that's what these lists are, okay? Second thing, make sure you check out the PTCGO Stocks. So when you're trading for all these cards on TCGO, you sort of know the value, so you're not ripping yourself off. And if you need some codes as well, make sure you check out JGC Collectibles. Use code Slowpoke5 for 5% off your order, okay? Anyway, let's get into the lists. Oh yeah, and one more thing just before we get into the lists. The sort of analysis today on these decks isn't going to be very detailed. It's going to just sort of be a brief overview on how the decks works. If you want a sort of really in-depth analysis, go check out the video. It's in the description, the 43 deck tier list, where I've got all the Omnipoke guys, Joe and Jack, in there, and we sort down and talk about all these decks in great detail, okay? But now, let's get into the list, baby. Here we go. Right, so I first want to start off with a bit of ABZ. Can't go wrong with that. Okay, yeah, so we've got starting off with ABZ. Again, this is a deck I haven't really played that much. I've only played a couple best of 3 with this. Shout out to my friend Connor Bird from the UK. He played ABZ for a long time, and this is, I said to him, yo, give me a firebox list that you think would be good in Rebel Clash. He gave me this. I played a couple games of it in real life, and yeah, it's pretty good, to be fair. He did say Dubwall can be pretty good in here as well if you want to go down that route. So yes, that is ABZ. Nice to note you've still got the Ninetales and all that good stuff for good reliable gust. Right, our next one, let's just get started with ADP Zacian. Obviously this is a really big poster boy deck, super strong in sword and shield meta, and this is sort of my take on it. Now, I've always been a fan of Spinner Bike. I hate Tag Court Engine. I'm not really a fan of that. I like to be able to draw cards, cycle through, so you're not getting hit with you know, Marnies and reset stamps and just sort of clunking away. Things to note here, I haven't gone for the 1/1 Copperajah. I don't think it's worth at this moment in time, but you know, if you do want to go down that route, it can. Probably just cut like one Zacian plus something else. Maybe Great Catcher if you want to go down a 1/1 Copperajah. But yeah, so you've got 2 water energies there, 2 shrines, 4 switch. Everything else is pretty standard there. Obviously the big thing to note is the Zamazenta, so you can have a better Dragapult matchup, really. That's something you've got to be scared of. Right, so next we've got ADP Spiritomb, popularised by Ross Cawthorn. It had limited success in Asia, but here it is now, did really good in the Limitless event a couple weeks ago, and it's an archetype where it's going to pick up a really strong Dragapult matchup, and it doesn't really gain any sort of problematic matchup. Although it's worth noting, just because we are Dark type, it doesn't mean Dragapult is free. Obviously the nature of the beast with Dragapult is it can spread damage counters, so if you get a little bit too careless with your Spiritomb, they can just clean them up. But it is also worth noting, after ADP buff, you only need 3 damage counters and a hustle bar, I believe, to 1-shot. So for one prize attacker for 1 energy, you can take 3 prizes. That just stuff shouldn't really be happening, really. Let's get on to the ADP Coco next. Again, this is a deck I've only really played in real life. I haven't really played it on TCGO much. I think if you're looking to play an ADP deck, you've got ADP Zacian and you've got ADP Spiritomb now. So I don't know why you want to go down this route. But I guess if you like greens decks and you like having the sort of revenge, your copycat attackers in the Mimikyu and the Psychic Mimikyu, and you like having green so you can get out your custom catchers and stuff, then you know what, I can't really fault you with that. If you want to play Coco, maybe Coco's one of your favourite Pokemon, I don't know, but there's a list for that one nonetheless. Let's have a look. So we'll go ADP Milotic next. Again, similar sort of thing to ADP Coco. I don't know why you'd be playing this when you've got Spiritomb and you've got Zacian. But again, if you really like Milotic, you want to give it a go. I mean, with the ADP plus 30, it's super nice. That sort of really helps improve your mass fixes. Obviously, got Galar to an extra plus 100 damage. You've got Absol for plus 50 for each one if they're basic. But you're super light on the Ultimate Ray, which is why I'm not really a big fan. So what we've done? We've done Zacian, we've done Milotic, we've done ADP Coco. Let's go down. Alright, let's get involved with Chandelure, which has 61 cards apparently. Yikes, okay. Right, so then we've got Chandelure. Again, this is a deck that only realistically gained Lampent. This is the one where if you top deck, you can put it onto your bench. It's pretty nice. But you also get Skylar, and Skylar could be really nice. It lets you dig out your Dust Stone. It lets you dig out your stadiums. Before we had to use Bill's analysis, and we had to sort of hope that those cards are in the top 8. But now Skylar lets us just pluck them out. So this low-key could make it a little bit more of a better deck. I'm not sure, but there you go. There's Chandelure. Alright, next we're on to Cinderace VMAX. Again, this is one I didn't really give a lot of day. I gave my sort of list before a couple games in real life, didn't really like it. I ended up sort of basing my list off the Rare Candy list, so make sure you go check out them for a full deck analysis, and it'll be a lot better than what I can give you, because I was not a fan of this deck at all. I don't think counter works really well, and I think the 3 for 170 just gets outclassed by so much other fire stuff. But yeah, there's Cinderace VMAX. Okay, so next we've got something a little bit bonkers here with Copperajah Magnezone. So I mean, Copperajah, right? Okay, is a big boy, 340 HP, does to 200 here and 240 there. Combine that with the Full Metal Wall GX and Frying Pans that we are playing, you can make this boy tank a hell of a lot. Okay, with Magnezone you can fulfill all the attacks straight away, and then you got some Mallow Liners and stuff to be healing as well. So again, listed in the description if you want to give it a go. Alright, next up is Darkbox. This is a deck that I've been championing for the longest of time, even before Rebel Clash, and now that Dragapult comes out, it looks like it's going to be a bit of a format leader. Being able to pick up a nice matchup there is really good. Mega Sableye Tyranitar is super good against Dragapult, because they can't even two-shot him, and you're just ridiculous. If they ever put it on a Dedenne, you can just up trade on that nicely as well. And then you got other stuff like Dark Moon GX, which is going to let you KO anything in format. So that's VMAXs, anything like that. Just auto KO them and then try and KO with Dedenne afterwards as well. And you've got the whole host of Dark type attackers there. And yeah, so again, if you like the list, go check it out. Alright, so you've heard us talk a little bit about Dragapult. This is not the VMAX, this is the baby Dragapult. 150 has the ability Infiltrator. On a coin flip, we don't take any damage from attacks, which is always super nice, and it's actually got a super usable attack. Like before, these sort of coin flip ability Pokemon, it been very good. Like you've had Greninja, you've had Whimsicott, but this is actually really nice. 2 for 120 and put 3 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon the way you like. Adds up nicely. We play a little bit of a Malamar package with Esper and Copycat, just in case anything drastically goes wrong. You can just throw those up there. Obviously, we know how good they are. So yeah, that's Dragapult. Right, now we're getting onto the Dragapult VMAXs, okay? This is the first list. This is your Dragapult Gengar, where we're leaning into Super Scoop Ups, and we're leaning into stuff like Wobbuffet V, and we're leaning into Dragapult VMAX. And this one as well to scoop them up. So all we're going to do literally is just move the damage off with Gengar, move them onto something, whether it's a bench Dragapult V or your Wobbuffet V, and then just lean into the scoop ups to pick them up and erase the damage. Really super strong if you can get there. When you get to that point, when you get to that board state, it's pretty disgusting. And you've got this Gengar that's going to let you put 6 damage counters on the opponent's EX or GX when you evolve him. So yeah, super strong. Here's another Dragapult VMAX deck. I feel as if this one might be stronger with Gengar. This one is pretty much the same shell, but instead of using Super Scoop Ups, we're going to make use of Scoop Up Net. And we're going to use the Psychic Prism Stars to just put 150 damage on them, scoop the damage up, put it back down, and just sort of erase it really, because Dragapult VMAX is a bit of a tanky geezer. So yeah, I feel like this might be the best way to play Gengar, but feel free to try them both if you like, and let me know which one you prefer. Alright, next up is Goons, and while Obstruct might not be the sort of game winner it always has been, because obviously as more VMAXs come into the format, the less good Obstruct gets. But what Obscune does do, it does hit Dragapult for weakness. whilst having Doom Count, when in a similar vein, as more VMAXs come out, Doom Count also becomes a lot better, letting you to auto knock out any of them. And then Sableye is also really nice against Dragapult. You can just attack twice. They actually can't one-shot a Sableye, which is kind of cool. But we do play a thin bead package, so we can try and get that going in one turn as well. So yeah, if you like the idea of obstructing and sort of picking up nice quick prizes with your Battle and Sableye, then maybe Goon's the deck for you. Right, next is Greenzard. Okay, this is a deck that I've only played in real life as well. I haven't really played it much on TCGO. And it's a deck that you can take in a multitude of different ways. You can go down healing route, you can go down energy denial route, you can go down Omastar route as we are here. I actually spoke with a good friend of the channel, Stefan Ivanoff, a little bit of this list. He helped me out with making it. Things to note really, that's like Enerporter to move away whole energies, triple stamp, and the stadium count there. So yeah, that's Greenzard, baby. Okay, next up. Green's Inteleon. This is a home build, baby. This is actually one that I've profiled before on the channel with 20 decks in 20 days. This is my favorite way to play Inteleon VMAX, okay? We're going to use a mysterious message on the Miss Majors to put a back bomb prizes. We use a counter gain so we can do max bullet for 2. And also combine that with Hydro Snipe, we can start removing energy off the opponent's board and really setting up pressure, because 160 with a 60 bench snipe is a lot of pressure. It's just getting to that point, and I feel as if Greens is the best way to do that. So yeah, we got Greens Inteleon VMAX. Speaking with your water type attackers, your water type VMAX I should say, here is Lapras VMAX, and I feel as if this might be the best way to play Frostmoth now, because obviously Lapras VMAX is still a world beater, 90 plus 30 for each water attached. Combine that with Zero Vanish against stuff that likes to load up energy, stuff like ADP, stuff like Dragapult. And then weave in a sneaky bit of the Sword and Shield, Lapras, which lets you put 2 energy attached to your opponent's active into their hand. It's kind of nice. You get a little bit of disruption with the Palkia and Lapras, and then just the world beater beat stick that is Lapras VMAX. Obviously now with stuff like Capacious Bucket, it's really nice to fulfill the energy cost nice and quick. So yeah, again, if you like Lapras VMAX, go check it out. Right, now I know Lost March is a deck that some people really love. It's a deck that I don't think is very good. As the HP goes up and up and up, Lost March becomes worse and worse and worse. But I guess you do get Twin Energy and you do get Cottony now as well. So yeah, if you like Lost March, here's a list for you. I don't recommend you play it, but there you go. It's there anyway. Okay, next up we've got Luxray. Super nice budget option, okay? We're going to try and lead into raid 1 for 160 if it evolves up this turn. So you're going to combine that with Scoop Up Nets and weave in some Zapdos and then weave in a Coco V late game. And if you're going to try and carry from there really, because you've got the 4 Scoop Up Nets, you can use stuff like Mind Report Mewtwo to make sure you just stop yourself bricking. And yeah, we've got top entry Luxray that we can abuse with Oranguru to make sure we always get that out. And yeah, we get nice Volcanion synergy, and we all know if you can build your deck around Volcanion, it's always super nice. So yeah, it's a nice budget option there in Luxray. Okay, next up we got Macargo, one of my really all-time favourite decks last format, okay? Now, it picked up a pretty bad Dragapult matchup though. You're super reliant on getting down loads of Slugmas early, because Dragapult can just pick them off nice and easy. But you know what, if you do, it's still a powerhouse, being able to just throw energies around the board and KO almost anything in format. Also picks up the Ninetales V now. Ninetale Shapeshifter lets you copy other attacks, lets you copy Dragapult's attack if you need to, if you've missed KOs. So yeah, worth thinking about, especially if you can get that going in the turn as well, and search it out when you want. So yeah, there's Macargo. Alright, here's the second green VMAX deck we've got today. This is the Malamar VMAX. This one, obviously, Max Jammer, 3 for 180, lets you get a card out of your opponent's hand. You get to choose it and put it to the bottom of their deck. So combine it with other disruption stuff like Marnie and Stamp. You're going to just try and stop them playing the game, basically, whilst you're doing 180, which is the perfect number to two-shot everything in format. So yeah, whilst being nice and consistent with the Greens engine. So yeah, there's Malamar VMAX. Here's the second Inteleon list we've got today. This one's the more conventional Moth style. So in order to fulfill Grand Bullet, we're going to just throw energies on with Frostmoth, obviously. So yeah, there's that. We've got the Palkia still, which is kind of nice to have a little bit more major disruption if things got out of control. Got the bucket. It's got some hammers as well, which is kind of nice. And then we've got the Chaotic Swells and some healing stuff with Malolana and more disruption with Team Yelgrunt. Now, I haven't really played this deck that often. I think it is good. I prefer greens, but if you have to sort of more super in-depth look at the deck, I know Gyro Sean's on a very good deck profile on it, and I know this list is pretty similar to that as well, so make sure you go check that out if you want a super big in-depth look at it. Alright, moving on to one of the sort of low-key biggest gainers from this set potentially, Pikachu. Here we've got the Guz Hala build, I believe. Yep. So what do we gain as Pikachu players? You gain Speed Energy, which lets you draw 2 when you attach. And it lets you gain Bosch's orders as well. So instead of having to jock your deck full of custom catcher, you can now play nice reliable Bosch's orders, which is going to mean your tag bolt is going to be so much more efficient. Okay, now let you really dissect your opponent's board really nice with tag bolt, yeah, tag bolt. And you also gain Bolt and V for a nice little swing attacker as well. So yeah, we've got 2 lists for Pikachu. We have got the Guz Hala and we've got a Volkner list as well. Speaking of the Volkner list, here it is. The only difference here, we're not playing the Guz Hala route, we're playing the Volkner Stadium Nav route, so that's how we're going to sort of keep our deck ticking over. Which Volkner lets you pick out your sort of choice items, that your Electro Powers, Energy Switches, all that good stuff, reset stamp a bit more easier. So yeah, that is the Volkner Pika one. Right, here's a nice big poster boy of the set. We got ourselves Rillaboom VMAX, letting you hit silly big damage with the max beating attack. And we're going to fulfill the energy cost with the Voltage Beat Rillaboom and cheat some extra prizes with Beast Game. On paper it is pretty nuts. In reality, discarding all this energy all the time isn't the greatest. But you know, you're going to have some super high rolly games, and if you want to just say, right, I'm throwing around like damage counters this game, then Rillaboom VMAX is the way to go. Right, here's the next one. We got ourselves a more Roxy focused Dragapult deck. Okay, this one's going to lean a lot into the Roxy and the wheezing, so we can just put damage counters literally everywhere. Lets you threaten Jirachi's in 1 turn, lets you KO 70 HP evolving basics, and it's just a super oppressive deck in the sense of damage counters. We've got their Chaotic Swell to lock out their stadiums and the Big Charm to push us out of some 2-shots as well. So yeah, Dragapult Roxy, if you want a sort of most aggressive version of Roxy where you're really just pressuring as early as possible, then I think this might be the way to go. Right, so this is the sort of Roxy and greens thrown together. This lets you get a little bit more supplemental draw with Mysterious Message, Miss Magus, while sort of still being in that Roxy tempo-based type engine. Even if you're not discarding the Weezings all the time, you can discard other pieces to help you draw through. Whilst, like you said, having the green safety net, so you can get out custom catches whenever you like, really. So yeah, that's the sort of Roxy greens version put together. It's one I've put some games in online, quite a few, and it's not too bad. Right, next up is Sandaconda Colossal. Sandaconda is a nice beat stick, which isn't super long and getting up to stage 2 because of that Sand Eater attack. Very nice. 3 for 220 is a very good number, especially in combination with the Princess Cheers Diancie as well. Obviously, Colossal lets you get out once per turn a fire and a fighting card and attach them to any Pokemon anywhere you like. So we can just keep chaining Sand Breath as long as we can, and because we do have to run a couple fire energies, you can run some stuff like a Cramorant to just snipe off the Dene. Lets you run a Ninetales as well, which is super nice. Lets you pick up your opponent's attack, use it against them. Really good at copying Max Phantoms to clean up Dragapult VMAX KO Mist. And then a Rally Back Entei as a nice revenge attacker as well. So yeah, that's Sandaconda, baby. I'm super hyped. Right, next up, we've got Speed Zacian. Speed Zacian gains Scoop Up Net, which is going to let you potentially reuse good old Wish Upon a Star Jirachi Prism. Again, it's a deck that I've been championing for the longest of times, and now I feel as if this might be at its peak. This actually might be the best way to play Zacian, including ADP. This might be the best way to play it. So here's a very good list I put a lot of games into. Alright, moving on from, you know, super meta Speed Zacian into a bit of a rogue. We got ourselves Tangrowth, okay? Tangrowth is sort of similar to Milotic in the sense that we're going to be trying to abuse retreat cost to damage our opponent, but the reason why I like this one better, Tangle Drag is super nice, than Milotic I should say. Pheromosa Buzzle lets us cheat prizes potentially, and because we're one prize, we can abuse stuff like Stamp, we can abuse stuff like Rosa, and so we can really pluck out all our stuff we need at the right time. So yeah, there's Tangrowth, give it a go. Okay, so talk about another electric deck outside of Pikachu. Again, we've got 2 versions of Toxicity VMAX. We've got Volkner and Guz Hala again. This is the Volkner version. Obviously using Garbodor to poison our opponent, so we can do G-Max right for a full 240. You know, whilst we've still got Electro Powers alive and stuff like that. You know, we've still got Coco Prism, we've still got Thunder Mountain, so we can get that attack cost down. Worth noting, we want to split of the toxicity, just because attaching one from this card is nice, but then so is doing a little 20 energy poke and poisoning as well, so we're trying to go halfway house here. But yeah, I'm a fan of Toxicity VMAX for sure. Right, Turbo Boltund, super aggressive attacker, okay? Obviously he does 10 plus 30 for each lightning attached, and when you get into that sort of 8 to 10 energy range with Electro Powers, you are actually threatening one shots on anything in format, okay? So it's going to really keep your opponent honest, it's going to really keep them on their toes, because you can basically threaten a one shot any time. Worth noting, we want to try and lean into full voltage GX to get those energies attached nice and early in the mid game, early game, and then late game I like to combine extra energy bomb from Electrode with a stamp to just start closing, sealing the game up, okay? We also got the Raichu here just to be a bit more of an annoyance with paralysis. So yeah, Turbo Boltund. Alright, next up is a deck that I haven't played a lot of at all, but my good friend Dimitri Eaton has. He's given me this list to play it for Rebel Clash. Ultimate Mewtwo might be the best way to play Mewtwo now, just because you've got a host of attackers. Some of them can deal with VMAXs quite nicely. So yeah, this is the Quag version. We've got two versions, one Quag version, one not. But this is the Quag version, okay? Make sure you can always Soul Burst out your weak guards against Dragapult. So yeah, there is Ultimate Mewtwo. Make sure you put your time invested with this one deck, guys, because if you can learn the Ultimate Mewtwo decks, they're really rewarding, but they are hard to play. Here's another Milotic list. I think this one by far is the worst, but we've got ourselves Welder Milotic here. I guess because you're playing Welder, you can lean into stuff like Volcanion to get him set up nice and early with Flare Starter, and you get the Ninetales, and I guess you can run any Welder attacker you like. But yeah, this is a deck I only played one best of 3 with. I don't think it's very great. But if you, again, it's another deck where if you want a super in-depth analysis, go check out the Rare Candy channel, because I know they've done a really good one, and that's how I helped build my list from as well. So yeah, go check out their channel if you want a bit more in-depth look, okay? Alright, showing how versatile Dragapult is, here's another Dragapult list for you. This is the Yanida build. This is arguably going to be the most popular one, I reckon, because it's done really good in Japan. This one uses Scoop Up Nets and Zigzagoons to let you reuse the Headbutt Tantrum ability and let you reuse Mewtwo as well, so you can stop bricking yourself basically. And it has a few tricks such as Team Yell Grunt and Giant Bombs as well. Giant Bomb's kind of cool because it lets Dragapult start threatening potential one-shots as long as they hit into it. So yeah, there is the Yanida Dragapult. Right, next one up is Baby Clowns, and Baby Clowns is a deck that while it's going to be in format, it's always going to be super competitive, okay? What do we gain as Baby Clowns players? We basically just gain Boss's Orders, and that's about it really. Now you don't have to worry about trying to fit loads of custom catches in, because Great Catch ain't going to cut it anymore, but Boss's Orders does cut it. So yeah, have a look at Baby Clowns, and all lists are always down there in that spreadsheet at the bottom, okay? Alright, next up is Phalanx, or Phalanx, however you want to pronounce it. Team Attack, very reminiscent to, what was that Pokemon called? That boogie Pokemon, I forgot its name. But this isn't as good as that deck, because that deck was really good as a counter deck, because it hit stuff like Zoroark for weakness, and you had like Coco to help mop up other stuff. This Phalanx has the same attack, team attack. There's 30 for each one of your bench Pokemon that has Phalanx in its name, so you can use the Phalanx V to help use that as well. Speaking of the Phalanx V, there it is. On a defense formation, your Phalanx take 20 less damage from your opponent's attack. That does stack, but I feel as if this deck just doesn't really synergize very well, because if you're trying to load it up on the Phalanx V, it's only got 160 HP, so it's going to get one shot even with its ability into effect. And then this guy isn't tanking at all, because it's only got 90. But what this deck can do quite nicely with Twin Energy is just sort of hitting that nice 2-shot range really well. When you're a non-GX hitting some nice big numbers, you know, it's kind of cool. We play a whole host of stuff. We've got the Fighting Energy, Twin Energies, Capture Energy, which is kind of cool. And then with stuff like Counter Game and Karate Belt, we can start even attacking with this guy. This guy does hit kind of hard, and that's a nice 210. And then with stuff like Dojos as well, you can start hitting big numbers. So yeah, that's Phalanx. Right, next one up, we got ourselves Mali Dragapult, and this is a sort of, I think, jack of all trades Dragapult list. This one lets you go a lot of different ways during the game. You've got the early game sort of stop playing with Gengar, Mimikyu, Horror House. After that, you can really start hitting the bench with Esper, and Blacephalon, and then you've got the combat mechanics with your Stamps, Marnies, and a Dubwool, okay? Dubwool's really nice late game cleanup attacker. And then sprinkle them in some Dragapult VMAX for the best VMAX out with Malamar, so you know all this energy denial stuff ain't gonna work. So yeah, we got ourselves Malamar Dragapult. Very good. Probably the most four corners way to play Dragapult in my opinion. Sticking with Malamar, we've now got Mewtwo Malamar. I guess Mewtwo's in theory should be taking a hit, but because of the way Mewtwo Malamar plays, being able to give your opponent a no card hand or a 2-card hand really fast, you're still going to win plenty of games doing that. So we're leaning into the Aurora Engine, so we can start using attackers such as Ultra, and we can start using attackers such as Aerodactyl as well, which is really nice against stuff like Baby Clowns and stuff like that, okay? So yeah, there is your Mewtwo Malamar. Tried and tested, baby. I was also worth noting we do play the Jirachi, so we don't get slapped by Dragapult, okay? Right, so here's a Milotic Moth. I think this is probably the best way to play Milotic if you are going to play it. Again, I don't really recommend it too much though. But yeah, here we go. There is a Milotic list. It's nice we get Zero Vanish and stuff like this. So yeah, there's Milotic Frostmoth. Rounding out the Mewtwo list, we've obviously got Welder Mewtwo now as well, okay? Welder Mewtwo is still going to win plenty of games, guys. By going like turn 2, 300, still going to win so many games. And then having stuff like Stinger, Blacephalon to help against Mill is also really cool. Nice and tried and true tested deck. We are having to play a Jirachi GX though because of Dragapult. So yeah, there you go. There is your Welder Mewtwo. Right then, so for these next 3 lists, got to thank my good friend Benjamin Rabiotti, as he built me these Mill lists, because I've never touched Mill since Wishy Washy Walls back in the day. So here it looks like we got ourselves the Chinchino sort of Mill, the one that did really good in the Limitless. Well, that and the Macargo one. But yeah, here that is in all of its glory. Key things to note, I imagine, is now we get boss's orders for this archetype as well. Right, and then the next one we've got is a sort of Macargo Mill. So you got, obviously you got the smooth over stuff. Again, this did really well in the Limitless, I should say. So yeah, did really good there. So there, that is. Again, I don't really know much about these Mill lists, so you have to just trust him. I know he's played Mill for a very long time, so I'm sure he knows what he's on about. And then rounding up the list here, we've got an updated Dolstall. I know Benjamin Rabiotti is really good with Dolstall, and here that is key things, so probably the Sky Pillars and the boss's orders as well. Alright then, so that's all the decks, baby, in all their glory. Thank you so much for watching. You know, if you hear any of your friends asking about if you've got so-and-so list and you haven't got them, point them to this video, okay? Put them to that spreadsheet. Like I said, there's a list for almost every archetype out there right now. And I appreciate, if you're using any of these lists, if you could just drop me a like, or, you know, share it on Facebook or Verbank or whatever. Just gonna put a lot of work into this. Took me hours to make all these lists and try them out. So, you know, a little bit of support would be so much appreciated, guys. But thank you so much for watching. If you like my content, consider subscribing, as I put a new TCG video out at least every day, okay? Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Hey guys, thanks for watching that video, much appreciated. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't hesitate to subscribe. I try and put out as much stuff here as I can. Full deck profiles plus games, topic conversational pieces regarding anything in the TCG. Check out my Twitter, check out my Facebook. That's where I get most of the updates, sort of see what's going on behind the scenes, all that good stuff. Also check out the SoundCloud for the full bi-weekly podcast. If you're interested, if you like the conversational pieces, go check that out. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a good day.